Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me? I just put my headphones on.
I can hear you perfectly.
Awesome. Good morning. It's good to be back. I've missed you.
Missed you too, Lisa.
Thanks for taking over and taking on all that stuff while I was not around because I know you are super, super busy yourself.
You know what? The timing was perfect, actually. The timing was perfect.
Well, that's awesome. Let's
And
see who we.
congratulations on all the baby pigs.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a lot of boys,
Mhm.
which everybody knows is a little challenging. But we have 8 piglets total, 5 in Eleanor's litter that are about to be 3 weeks old, and then we have 3 in Fiona's litter that are about to be, let's see, today's a week old tomorrow. So we are back. But part of it is just spending time with them because, they're not, well, they're not all going to stay, I'm hoping, but they may.
Yeah.
But
That
so
helps new owners too.
absolutely, absolutely. Eleanor's is getting really large and they are very loud when you pick them up.
Really?
Like ear piercing
Oh my
loud.
gosh. Like break out the earplugs when you go to hug on the piglets, huh?
They are. If you go to pick them up, the minute it's like pigs, anytime their feet leave the ground, everyone in the United States and abroad knows it. Hey, Charlie, Fallen Arkansas veterans. Hey there, Tony at Kettle Kitchen. We are glad to be back. Mountain Grandma is a trooper and held the reins while we were having piglets. Hey, Annette, Annie's Kitchen and Urban Homestead. Hey, Cool Gamer. Hello, my favorite Pixie Blues Self Reliance. Let's see who else we got here. Just trying to scroll down.
Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us and thanks for putting up with the programmatic changes, last minute, and all that stuff. But just keep in mind, everything always goes to the community page or social media. Hey, Uncle Al.
Good morning, Uncle Al.
So we do try to do that to keep everyone up to speed, but we're hoping to be back on track right now. We may have a few more hiccups just because it's summer. So Mountain Grandma and I, hey Nancy, our treasured home, we thought it was since we're both feeling like the hot mess express with everything that's going on, we decided that it was a good time to talk about revitalizing or revamping. I like the word revitalize in the thumbnail, but we talked about revamping or revitalizing your goal plans so that way you can get back on track. So one of the things that I thought of today that I wanted to bring up today was even when you're out of your right mind and you think you're not working towards your goals, you may very well be.
Yep.
And so what do I mean by that is we have been a little sidetracked here on our homestead, having the 2 litters 2 weeks apart. But that was one of our big goals for this year, was to breed our pigs.
Yep.
So we did achieve our goal, even though we are the Hot Mess Express right now. One thing I do want to say, because this came up with somebody else on Instagram. Can you believe on our 2-acre farm, we have had over 80 animals this year?
Holy smokes.
Now, mind you, many of them were poultry and game birds, not necessarily livestock, but we had over 80 animals being raised on this farm.
Oh my goodness. I
Between
didn't
me,
realize it was that many. That is so awesome.
yeah, no, what I was thinking the other day, somebody said to me, they're like, how many animals do you have on your farm? And like, I thought about, no worries, Uncle Al, please rest. Just listen in, relax.
Yes.
So I thought about it, and it's like we had meat chickens, we have pheasants, we have turkeys that we're raising for meat, we have breeder turkeys, we have the pigs, we have the piglets, we have chickens, we have 3 flocks of chickens right now, which is a lot. So yeah, when you sit and think about it, that's a lot of animals for 2 acres.
It is. That's awesome. I think that goes to show what a person can do with 2 acres. I mean, and honestly, like, we love looking at land, and that's somewhere in our future. We always look at pasture and forest. And when we're looking, the amount of land where we would end up putting animals is probably about 2 acres. I mean, and then you've got, I just think that's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so we're feeling pretty good about it. I was talking to Ryan the other day, and I was like, do you realize we had that many animals here?
No, I didn't realize it either. Did you just figure this out? Like, let me take a count.
No, somebody on Instagram was like, asked me how many, you only have 2 acres. How many animals do you have there? And I was like, well, this summer we had over 80.
Is that wild? It can be done.
Yep.
Comfortably. Because honestly, your setup that you have, all the animals are happy. They all look like they have plenty of space. It's really awesome. I think, what I think happens is that there's so many people that just don't fully utilize the space that they have.
No, exactly. Hey, Dawn Ray B. It's sort of like people have, hundreds of acres, and they're only using a few of it, So I think when you have the small space, I think that you bring up a really great point, because you use it efficiently, because it's all you got.
Yeah.
So I think that's real good. Yeah, I don't half an acre with a tiny home on it and lots of room to grow our produce in a chook pen. Yeah, that sounds good, Annette. I don't blame you. Yeah, I mean,
you know what else though, Lisa?
What's that?
I think that part of it is not just you using what you have, but you not telling yourself that you can't in the first place.
Yeah.
How many times have you been in a chat where you hear people saying, I can't, I don't have the room, I can't, I don't have the time, I can't, I don't have the money. And what you're doing takes room, time, and money, but you've really worked within what you have, because you haven't told yourself I can't.
Right. I mean, and I post a lot on Instagram, and I know that you're not on it, but some people who are here, hey, Carmen, Jesus Loving Homesteader. So, I know that some people follow me on Instagram, and I post a lot about that. Never say never. Like, we are the 2 acre farm that is little but mighty, because the bottom line is, we want it. Right. So we're going on 2 years now of not buying any meat. Again, the only exception is we do buy salmon from a bulk produce, a bulk company that delivers. It's like an Azure standard, and I've talked about it before.
Yeah.
The other thing is we buy locally sourced beef. And this year, because we have so much meat, we're not even buying the beef. So, I mean, and do we need to buy the salmon? No, but we like it on the smoker, and it's a good deal. So we get it bulk and we put it in the freezer.
Yeah.
But
and it's good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, that's the thing, is just, never say never. If you want to do something, you can do it. Even when you feel like a hot mess, you feel like you can't do anymore, you're exhausted, you're, whatever, like the gardening. You guys know I don't like gardening. I don't.
Yeah.
It's a fact. I do it outside, and I'm watching Rich over at the Old Swedes farm in the same zone as I am, and his garden is exploding. And I got a garden over here that's looking at me, and I'm not even weeding it, because you want to know why? I'm not weeding that garden unless it's producing a lot of food, because otherwise it's a waste of my resources.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So, and like you talked about in your video, water, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to water the crap out of it because it's a waste of my resources if it's not producing.
That's right.
So the greenhouse gets watered twice a day because it's hot in there.
Uh-huh.
And I finally got Ryan to agree we need another greenhouse.
Awesome. Yay.
Now we got to find one because they're pricey, but of course we'll try to do it thriftily. But
yeah,
the bottom line is the greenhouse is the only thing producing right now.
Mm-hmm.
The other stuff is still waiting, and we're in like, end of August in my eyes. Winter's coming.
Yeah. Fall is upon us. That's why I had cinnamon in my tea this morning. I'm ready for the fall stuff. My favorite season.
Yep.
But you're right. Like we're right there. And I feel like for us, there's been, the huge project we've been working on and other stuff. My garden's not up to par. Like I am not this year where I was last year with the garden. And there's a really good reason for that, that I can't share yet.
And that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's those little things. Some of the skill sets I was working on, I haven't invested as much time in as I wanted to, but the year's not even over. So, that's part of it. And everything comes in seasons. I feel like we have had a crazy busy summer season is what it boils down to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hello, Conscious Business Services.
Good morning.
Welcome in. Good morning. Yes, no worries. No worries. Yeah, I mean, so you have a lot going on. And, that's the thing. I think it's, we talk about goal setting and we're pretty driven and we push.
Yep.
And, as I'm retired and working on the farm, because like the whole farm is me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feed and everything like that. Don't get me wrong. Ryan helps out, but the bottom line is the farm is my job.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan will come home from work. Ryan will come home from work and I'm like, I got to go feed. I'll see you later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. But that's my thing. Hey, Gwen, broke cowgirl.
Good morning.
And anyway, so the reason why I bring that up is I back off stuff if I can't because it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that Charles asked you a question. Yeah. The price went up on ours. Yours is really high for me anyway.
Yeah. Did you see the sign? It was because the nearest well where they've been, so we're on hauled water for everyone who doesn't know and hasn't seen the video that's on my channel. I shared a video of hauling water because I had, some people ask me about that who didn't realize that people had to do that, I guess. We have a cistern, it's in the ground. And it's 2,500 gallons, and we have to go and get water and bring it and put it in our cistern, and that's where our house pulls the water from. So we don't have city water. We're at 7,000 feet. There's no wells up here. So where we get the water from that's near us, they pull the water over. Hey, Andale.
Hey, Andale.
They pull the water over from about 30 miles away, or they have. And when we went to fill up water, I'm doing the video and I'm like, it costs us about $15 to fill this. And all the while I'm actually showing the sign that's right there. I just wasn't even reading it. And then I had to go back and kind of do a whoop, whoop, whoop. Wait a minute. And there was a sign that the cost of our water went up. And it's because they're now having to drive all the way to Flagstaff to get our water because where they've been getting it from, the well is dry. So we are getting a lot of rain. I'm hopeful that will help things. Like when I say a lot, I mean, like I got another video I got to get up. We even got hail the other day. So we've just had this rash of storms, one right after every afternoon, basically. I hope that helps, but I'm not sure what it's going to be like for drought recovery from this decades long drought that we're in. But nice for the moment, but yeah, that's what that's all about. So Charles, yeah, we have to pay for it. Price went up. I do always say though, for people who live on city water and are so accustomed to turn on the faucet, here she comes, where we live, we know that the water is a very dire issue here. And we really conserve our water well. I mean, we could conserve it even better than we do. And we use about 350 gallons a week. That's with us putting into place conservation measures already. I mean, everything in our house is a water friendly appliance, the washer, the toilets, they're water conservation. And so we could do even better than we do, though. When people say, how much water do you need for drinking, sanitation, bathing, all of that stuff. We do all of that on 350 gallons of water. And that's us watching our water. And we could even watch it a little more. So anybody who thinks that they couldn't do it, you totally can. It goes up a little bit in the spring and summer from me watering the garden.
Mm-hmm.
But, you make do. You take quick showers. You don't take baths, things like that. And that includes cooking, because I have a filter on my sink. So it's not like I have water for the house and then separate water for cooking and drinking. It's all the same water.
Don Ray B was saying, once you haul your water, you really think about what you use and what you waste. Let me tell you something. So I am not good at conserving water. I'm not, especially in the summertime. Like in the wintertime, we use hardly anything, but in the summertime with the animals, it's constant water.
Yep.
So and I always say, when you look at a tank and watch the level drop, you really get a better picture of how much water you're using.
Yeah.
So for example, our garden in the back, if we soak it good, it's 55 gallons.
Isn't that awesome to know? I feel like there's power in knowledge. So there's power in knowing that.
Absolutely. I didn't realize that, because I was like, oh, we got a 55-gallon drum. This is great. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I still don't have puddles on my garden.
Yeah. And it determines what you grow in your gardens too.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Whatever you plant, I don't try to grow berries, for example. Like, I don't have the water resource for that.
Yeah. Apparently I grow berries, but I don't have a water resource. I will say we got like a half an inch of rain the other day, which was pretty incredible, because we haven't had anything, and the fire danger has been through the roof. Hi, Hugo Homestead. Hey, where to begin, Homestead? Welcome in.
Hey there.
Yeah, I hope you guys get rain, Carmen. Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, it's just so, I think, it's all about going back and like revamping your goals, right? And revitalizing everything.
Yep.
And so thinking about, you're probably always working towards your goals. You just need to refresh it. So like not to be hard on yourself. What do you think about stuff like that?
Totally agree. I'm sitting here looking at my list. Like if you do jot, a lot of people don't necessarily jot down their goals. They know what they want to do, right? I like to jot them down, because sometimes you include little details that you might, at least me, it's going to get lost up here. But 100% true. And just even understanding, I think, cutting yourself some slack and understanding, again, that things are in seasons. And I just keep going back to that, because I feel like there's certain seasons that you're going to get more done. Like we all know what we're doing, the things that we do in the winter. It's a lot of our indoor things. We're hurrying up in the spring, right? Early spring, to prepare for the summer. Summer, fall, we're preparing for the winter on the homesteads. And then winter time, that's our indoor activities. So maybe even I'm thinking like this next year, when I go and draft out my goals, I'm going to keep the whole season thing in mind and kind of have them be a little more time conscientious, I guess, based on what the season is. But there have been things that I'm probably not going to get to this year because other things have taken the center stage, which some of the other things are some huge goals that we had. So that is awesome. And I'm not going to beat myself up over the other stuff. That's for sure. There went my head.
You can't. I mean, beating yourself up serves one purpose, and that's beating yourself up. It holds you back.
Yep.
So if you want to hold yourself back, if you want to whine, you want to have a little pity party, I get it. Have a pity party.
Yeah.
But then let it go and move on, because the reality of it is you get stuck in that pity party and you're not going to move forward, right? Because that's what we want to do. Sometimes we just want to be in our little bubble. We want to just sit there and have a little whine and a cry and go, I can't do this. I can't do this. But if you want to do it, you got to do something to do it. That's it sucks, but nothing's going to happen on its own.
Yep. Right? No, we have to be the ones that are providing the work towards our own goals. What we work for, we get. I saw that you, Nordic Drip she had a video up about her,
superpower.
Her superpower and her manifesting her dream for her life. And she wasn't talking about manifesting, how you hear manifesting in terms of positive thinking, everything. It wasn't like that. It was like she has a goal for what she wants to do in life, and she works towards that. I read a book once called, I've read a couple of really good books. One of them, Manage Your Choices, Manage Your Life. That was a really good book. I read that when I was young. And there was another one, and it was called Life by Design. And I read that, I don't know, probably a decade or so ago. And I started really thinking, I was at a time when I read that really thinking, I'm happy with these things. And don't get me wrong, it's not ungratefulness. But at the time we had our own business. I was working outside of the home. It was a crazy, crazy time. And I felt like my life was working from dawn until dusk. And probably even when I slept, I was problem solving. Like, I'm serious. It was that. And I recognized it wasn't healthy for me. And I started thinking something's got to change. And I started looking to, if all I had time to do at that moment was read a book, right? Like, I felt like I could relax and read. See, my brain couldn't stop thinking. So if I read a lot at that time. That was my relaxation time because I was too physically exhausted to move. And the reading would at least keep my mind occupied and get it to go in a direction that I wanted it to go. But that's what she was kind of speaking to, was life by design. And that's what Lisa has done. That's when she retired and said, this is what her and her husband, this is what I want to do. And we're going to figure out how to get there. And it's all in steps. And it starts out as a big goal. And sometimes you have other little goals. And that's just the way that it works. But I think I totally took us off on a tangent, Lisa.
No, you did great. And I think that's what's important, right? Is you make a decision on what you want, right? And so for me, it was quality of life, right? Versus commuting over 20 hours a week.
Yep.
Right. And being on the road and all that stuff and missing out on things and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then, so now I'm here all the time and my quality of life is just, and I liked my job. I had a great job. Yeah. It's just the commuting really had gotten to the point where I was done with the commuting because I'm commuting all those hours. Right. Then quick run home and get dinner ready. Yep. Try to do laundry, spend my weekends doing stuff. And it's just like, well, I got the farm. What am I doing there? Barely anything.
Yeah.
And so that just didn't feel right because that was pushing a priority of mine out of the priority list. And so when we talked about it, it's really nice because now, like, Ryan has a lot more flexibility than I ever had. So first of all, if there was an emergency on the farm, Ryan had to come because he was closer. There was no way I was getting here. And so it's nice because, he comes home and says, hey, let's go to lunch.
Mm-hmm.
We go to lunch. Hey, let's go to
Yeah.
dinner, right? We can do that because we can go earlier because it's tourist season. So you got to get in there earlier. You're not getting
Right.
dinner.
We have that
right?
here too. Yeah.
And we drove to Wyoming the other day, last
Mm-hmm.
Friday, when we
Wow.
canceled our live. It's not far, but
Yeah.
we went to Wyoming to a hole in the wall
Uh-huh.
because 500,000 people were here for a rally.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, I'm not
Gosh.
going into town.
Right.
We're going to go to Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan was like, why are we going out to eat? And I'm like, we're going to Wyoming. And there's a pop-up bar,
Mm-hmm.
a pop-up bar for the rally goers in the middle of nowhere. It was hilarious. Hey, Brian, Castle Hives, welcome in. So, I mean, it's all about what you're choosing to do in your life and what your goals are.
Yeah.
And
keep
the biggest
fluid. Gotta keep fluid. And when I say
find balance.
Yes, I mean, water ebbs and flows. It fits, right? It makes its way. That's what I mean by keep it fluid. Whatever your goals and your plans are, don't give yourself a hard no on anything. For starters, I never tell myself a hard no on anything. Maybe when it comes to like food, I should, but I still haven't done that. One of these days, maybe. But I really feel like if you want to live a certain lifestyle, and my husband, I remember when I first started bringing it to his attention, like this lifestyle, he's like, lifestyle. I'm so tired of hearing you say that word. I'm like, we need to change our lifestyle. This isn't, we had to go 3 hours to be able to go fishing or to do anything that we like to do, and which meant 3 hours one way. And so it was like, it had to be a weekend thing. Weekends, everybody was there. It was just, so I hope people really look at how they're living, where they're putting their energy, right? Lisa, is what it comes down to. Where's your energy going? And are you happy with the life that it's giving you? And a lot of people think they need money. And do they think they need more money because of the new cars? Maybe they got 2 of them they're making payments on. Because maybe they like to go shopping and buy clothes brand new, like every season or something, or, I mean, there's just ways around it. So just evaluate, what brings you joy.
That you just hit the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm.
You just hit the nail on the head. I just want to acknowledge a couple of great comments. Mm-hmm. Nancy at Our Treasured Home said, yeah, that's true about what you want to do, not what society says you have to do.
Yeah.
And then Dawn Ray B says, I completely agree with those. So no hard no. So many things fell into place that she would have missed out on. It's so true. Awesome. And it's all about, all right, I'm going to be hardcore, people. I'm going to be really hardcore. You ever hear the people who go, oh, it must be nice. Must be nice, right? Usually the people who are going, must be nice, are the ones who are making different choices. Mm-hmm. Right? Yep. I'm driving a truck that's got hail damage. I'm driving a truck that's from 2014. The only reason we got that is it was part of a company package.
Hey, that was a good year. That's what our trucks are.
But it was part of a company package. It's paid off. It's been paid off. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had a 2014. It's been hail damaged so many times that we've stopped taking it to the shop because it sits there and gets more hail damage. Yeah. So, like, we make choices, and our choices are to not have fancy things, not have anything brand new. But when we want something, like the side-by-side was a really good investment.
Heck yeah.
We bought it new. 0%.
Did you see what Dawn just said?
What's that?
Pin her comment real quick if you could.
This one?
Yes. This is what we're talking about, Dawn. Exactly.
Yep. And that's the thing. So I hear people say, oh, must be nice. You know what? It is nice. Because we sacrificed for it.
And still sacrifice, right?
Still sacrifice.
I mean, it's not like you're not working. You're just working for yourself.
I'm just not getting paid.
Putting in, you know what I mean, though?
It's like being a stay-at-home mom. You don't get paid, but you're working.
Yeah, but money is a resource. So in the world of resources, you are getting paid, right?
Right.
Because you have those resources coming in, not to mention the value of your own time and, you know, the peace that you have and being in your own home. The cost of employment, everybody, of going to work when I used to have to travel to go into the office, and I still work. I'm remote, but when I had to go into the office, geez, we're talking my family, we probably, and I'm just being totally upfront and honest, we probably had fast food, I would say about 5 times a week. And that is including, that's not even including me eating out when I was on the job. When I'd go get lunch, like I probably did that just about every day.
And it becomes a social thing too.
Yes. And there's that. And then my family, we were all eating fast food for dinner, like a good 5 times a week. I mean, and that includes maybe on the weekends, on Saturdays, we went and got breakfast, and we went and got lunch or dinner too. I mean, I'm just being real with it. And I think a lot of families end up doing that. I don't think it was just me. I hated to cook when I was in the kitchen. I was so exhausted after coming home from work, working in our home office, and then going into the kitchen. Like sometimes I'd be like, I can't do it tonight. I just can't. And it, you know, it really does. I'm going to say it. It takes your life from you.
It does.
It does.
It does. I mean, I know one of the things we've been looking at, one of the things we've been talking a lot about is, like you say, you know, Don Ray B and was agreeing with you about the cost of employment. Mm-hmm. So let's look at my time, right? And you can relate to this. It's not just me.
Yeah.
I'm not unique here.
Yes.
But traveling over 20 hours a week in tourist season and construction season, which are the same, which is anytime it's not snowing, there's tourists. Right. Tourists and construction in South Dakota. Then you add the rally into it. Okay. I was traveling on average 2 hours a day. Right.
Yep.
And it was longer. There were times it took me an hour and 45 minutes when there was an accident because of rally, which happens all the time, sadly, and tourism. So you have that, and that adds time. Stuck in single lane traffic, sometimes an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh, and how many times have you been stuck in the traffic and you realize you're white knuckling your steering wheel?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're so stressed out about being in a meeting, disappointing somebody, you know, just being under that heel of the employer, right?
Yeah. And then
maybe you put it there yourself and they wouldn't care, but it is what it is.
Absolutely. And then look at the cost of gas, right? Wear and tear on the vehicle, tires and brakes.
Yep.
Tires and brakes, 2 things I've got to have in snow.
What about those work clothes?
Work clothes.
We had an entire closet. Well, we had at the last house, we had 3 closets in our room. And it was, you know, we didn't have a walk-in. So it was like one whole wall. We had like 3 sets of doors. I had 2 of them. And when I went to work remote, I picked out the things I you know, saved myself, I don't know, the things I liked the best, and then ended up getting rid of a bunch of those. Clothes, the money spent on clothes, the things that had to go to the dry cleaners because it was some fancy old piece of fabric. And we would want to go camping and do the stuff we actually loved. And I'm like, crap, I can't wear chiffon to the fish bank. What am I going to do? Like I had no clothes for the things I like to do the most. It was ridiculous.
I've been taking my old work clothes. I've been trying to wear, I was going to go through it and get rid of it all.
Yeah.
But I kept it because if I have to go somewhere, like I always have stained clothes from the pigs.
Yeah.
Right. So it's funny. I've left them all there and I'm just going to keep wearing them, and I'll wear them outside. When they get dirty, I'll throw them out.
Yeah. I just honestly had too much. We went from the house to a 5th wheel and then to this house here. And it was too much. I just gave them away. And some of them had tags on them.
Yeah, absolutely. And when folks find out what they value, they gain the commitment. Because yes, if you value it, you are more likely to follow through with it. You hit the nail on the head.
Yep.
I always have said that.
Do you see that? To retire next year at 43.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Ryan's ready to retire. I can't get into it on YouTube, but
yeah,
he's got things going on, and so he may be working for another couple years. But again, like, we had piglets the other day, and I looked at, he was ready to go to work in the morning, and I looked at him at like 4 a.m. and I was like, you are not leaving this house. You are staying home and going to sleep. We've been up all night and we're old.
That's my husband with me, because I'll be the one that just tries to push. And he's like, no. And he would do that to me when I had to go into the office, and we would fight about it. I would actually push back until either he's like, go then. And then, I don't know, I'd probably have myself. Before I went to the remote job, I was actually in the emergency room like 3 times in 1 year over blood pressure related issues because of the lifestyle. My body, I'm not young anymore. Well, I'm not old. I'm not going to call myself old either, but I'm not as young. I could not continue to abuse myself by overworking, eating bad foods, leaving no time for myself. And I was so wrapped up in generating income that even my fun things, I'd get off of work, and some of the fun things that I like to do, make soap, make candles, make body scrubs, lotions, herbal things, and then combine the two and make all this stuff. Even that ended up turning into a side hustle because people in the offices I went into knew. And then I started getting orders for making things, and it turned into a third job. It ended up being me doing everything I was doing, almost like I didn't intentionally chase a dollar, but that's exactly what I was doing. Even my peaceful hobby time turned into an income generation kind of thing. And I didn't need that. I already had 2 jobs. I did not need it. It was crazy. You get on that wheel, right? The rat race. You get on that wheel, right, and you're just running. And I felt like I probably lost about 5 years of feeling like when holidays came, I was there physically. I was doing everything I was supposed to do, buying the gifts, wrapping the gifts, cooking the food, smiling, loving on my family. I did take my girls, and heck, even my son went to work with me when especially if I could pop in the office on a Saturday. Yeah, they all went to work with me, and both of the girls ended up working in research themselves just because they heard the lingo so much. So I didn't work overtime. At one job, my main job, I didn't work overtime, but I was in the office when I was at home. So I was still home, and I felt like maybe I was doing a little better than my parents did because I'm following into that same. They were gone though. They wouldn't be home till 9 o'clock at night sometimes.
Yeah. And I want to point out, Don Ray B says, I wanted to be debt free, but made the decision to bail out of the urban area and move here now. Debt free is a wonderful goal. I admire that. Where to Begin Homestead said, that, my friend, is priceless. Doesn't matter if you're paying on it. Just don't live beyond your means. Yeah. You're going to be debt free again soon. Let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. So we could be debt free. We could be. Mm-hmm. We have very minimal finances. However, we choose to not be debt free right now in order to have fluid funds to be able to snatch up a piece of land if it becomes available.
Yeah.
Or if something else we need becomes available. Mm-hmm. Right. But so Where to Begin is so correct. And debt free is awesome. Mm-hmm. But if you go debt free and you're looking to do something different, and you take all your resources and put it into one, you just have to decide if that's what you want to do. I'm not against it. I think that's exactly why we have some debt, and it's minimal, but it's, again, if an opportunity comes up, you need fluid funding to be able to get it. And so here, everything is extremely high priced. We're waiting for the market to come down. It is starting to come down, but it is still egregiously high. Hey, Andrea, digging for health. And so it's holding on to it.
Yep.
It's like having a nest egg in case an opportunity comes up. We can we don't have to sit there and go, oh crap, we can't do that now because we just paid the house off. Our deal was the only way we would move. We don't want to move. We don't. The only thing is we are looking for a little larger and a little flatter and a little more operational for us, or functional for us. So I'm just trying to get my brain together. So our goal would be to basically be able to purchase something while retaining this, so there isn't the madness, because we have the animals and we might have to build a barn, so stuff like that. So we're just trying to prepare. But other than that, I don't see us moving. We've talked about 2 acres is enough for us. And after having 80 plus animals here, we're doing just fine.
Right? You are.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole debt-free versus hanging on to some fluid stuff?
So some of us, I got to adjust myself for this one. Some of us are probably never going to be debt-free because of choices that were made, because of the way things fell. And I know a lot of people can speak to this. There's people out there who have student loan debt,
which may be forgiven soon.
I'm hoping so.
I'm holding my breath because I'm still paying student loans off.
I am intentionally not, what do you call it, bulking it together with somebody. I keep getting these offers and I'm like, I'm holding on to see if they'll forgive this for me, at least someday. So there's that. There's other people who maybe, and this is a touchy subject for a lot of people, but child support, and I've seen it play out very unfairly in both directions. So we'll call that one out. Maybe there's people who have had a really serious illness and ended up in medical debt. Like if you're not, and I feel like in our country, if you are not absolutely destitute, you're going to be in debt for possibly for a lot of different reasons. So hopefully there's not too many people that fit into those categories, but for us, we have debt that is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So we'll have those, right? I would like to have other things paid off, but at the same time, my husband and I talk about this, like what we always try to keep cash reserves, always. I know there's some people who like to put it in gold. Be careful about that, because we had a friend who had purchased some gold and they went to go cash it in and found out it was gold plated, and they got really screwed on that deal. But anyways, we're the same way, Lisa. We will still, even with some of the choices and decisions we're making, I will tell you, I will not be buying a new vehicle. When our vehicles get paid off, I'm never, ever going to get a car payment again. And they weren't new to begin with. And we've never purchased like brand new furniture or brand new washers and dryers or brand new anything, really, because why? It's going to lose its value. And my parents were some of the people who like to redecorate their house, and they would redecorate. We got leather furniture from my brother, who got it from my parents. It lived through them, and then it lived through him, and then it came to us, and it still had life.
Yeah.
I'm saying there's people out there who they don't value items and things. They remodel because they want to look at a different color or something.
Our house So we moved into this house. I shouldn't even, I've said this before, so I'll get over it. But if you watch our kitchen videos closely enough, we have 3 different countertops. So when we moved into this house, when we were, I wasn't working yet. I moved out here. Ryan was working, and then I was working, and we were like, we're going to renovate the kitchen. And that was 2020. We didn't renovate the kitchen.
That's what we do every time, Lisa. If you've seen my kitchen videos, you see I've got like the old, 1990s square tile. And it's a good shape though. And the only time that it becomes a problem is if I'm making bread, but I've discovered shelf liner underneath of whatever you're using to roll the dough, because you can't roll dough on square tile on your kitchen counters. So I use cutting boards, and some people have that plastic sheet that rolls out, which I tried that before and it slid and it didn't work for me. But I discovered like the shelf lining. It's not paper. It's really weird stuff.
It's rubbery.
Yeah, rubbery. You can put stuff on that and you can actually roll and things don't move around. It's awesome. But
Brian's Lowe's Hills Home said, yeah,
we're big into the remodeling unless it's broken. Yeah, Brian said it's not broken.
So it's funny because this has been an ongoing joke like in our former life. But so our kitchen cabinets don't have matching hardware. When we moved in, one of the kitchen cabinets were added over time because it was a family of 4 living here. It was a family, I think, of 2 when they built the house. So it's just really funny, right? So when I moved in, one of the cabinets were white and it had like phone numbers on it, and it said phone books, menus, all this stuff. Wow. And I was like, I took white paint. It wasn't even matching glossy paint. It was flat, and I just went like this. But because I don't care. Like, I'm not fixated on my kitchen.
Yeah.
So if I had a choice between having a herd of pigs and having a kitchen, I want the pigs. So Ryan keeps talking about going to Menards and like, we're going to look at the kitchen. And I'm like, how much are we going to sink into the kitchen? And I was like, no.
And why are we doing this again?
I'm like, no, we're building a barn before we build a kitchen.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's like you have making all these choices as you revitalize your plan is like so key, right? Because your plan is going to change with what you value, what you're going to commit to, what you're going to choose, what you're willing to sacrifice. I think, do you think all those things play into it?
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, what brings you joy? And is it working towards, we should all have some kind of a goal of this would be my happiest place. This would be where I am feeling like that's going to be the best life for me and my family, right? Like everyone, and if it's and it's not to say to not be grateful for where you are, because, things come to us in stages and in our life, like in every place that we are in life, even when it's tough, we learn things from that. Sometimes we build our character in those toughest times, even if there are times when we put ourselves there, right? Like we thought that would be the best thing, right? When I got my degree and I started working in clinical research, I thought, this is what I wanted to do. This is it. I'm so happy, right? And then it kind of grew. It grew and took over more of my life than I realized it was going to, but I still learned a lot through all that. And so I feel like you should have that goal, whatever you do, once you make up your mind, whether it's to get that job that, right now you want it. Maybe later you're going to decide it's time for a change, and that's totally okay. I learned a lot where I worked, and I'm not saying that I would trade that experience or having the experience of having a business. I learned a lot from that. It was great for the family. It was just time to move on from that. But whatever your goal is, then you've just got to do like a little self-check and see, is the choices that I'm making every day, is that aligning with my end goal? And is it really bringing me happiness? Do I really need this Starbucks coffee every morning on the way to work? Like, you know what I mean? And I think it's just kind of checking in and seeing, am I really willing to invest the time, the resources, the sacrifice, and make the sacrifices for where I think we want to be? Or am I just fooling myself and I really don't want to be there? And I think some people who do have all the excuses and say, oh, I wish I had the land. No, they don't. I don't think that they really do, because if they really did, then they would be managing their day-to-day choices a little differently. And they might, if they had the land, be like, holy crap, there's no Starbucks. Like, we don't, like, one of the things I noticed moving up here, when you move to a more rural area, first off, there is no such thing as fast food. Fast food comes out of your freezer. Maybe you froze something from a previous meal. That's your fast. Otherwise, it's all slow food. You're driving at least, 20 minutes there and 20 minutes back.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. If you don't want to grow your own food, don't grow it.
Yeah.
If you don't want to homestead, don't homestead. If you don't want to retire, you want to work, keep working. Yeah. Like, these are all your choices to make. Yeah. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with people in the chat. Hey, Arc Wildman, you don't have to agree with anybody. The only one you have to agree with and lay your head down on the pillow at night with is yourself.
And your spouse.
And your spouse. Yeah, sorry. And your spouse. But that's what I mean. Like, that's your choices to make.
Yep.
And so make the choices that work for you. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It doesn't matter.
Don't be a victim of your choices.
Right.
Don't get into habits and then feel like, I'm making these choices. I can't help myself. This is how people live. Let people live how people live, and you live how you want to live. That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah. Yeah. Where to begin? This is so true. So several times this summer, I was invited by like fellow YouTubers to go places. And I said, I can't. Like, if you're 8 hours away from me and I'm going to come visit you, that means 2 or 3 days, I'm going to be gone.
Yeah.
I got nobody to watch the farm. Nobody. In a pinch, in an emergency last year, when my mom passed away in August, I had people who graciously offered, and that was understandable. We had a death in the family, and people were kind enough to come over. But think about it. I'm asking somebody to come over twice a day. Twice a day.
Yeah.
And then I'm taking Diesel with me because I don't want them to have to come over more than twice a day. So, again, but that's our choice. And we chose that choice because we actually like being home. We did a lot of traveling when we were younger. One of the places we always wanted to go was Mount Rushmore, and I'm 20 minutes away.
Oh my gosh, and look at you.
Go figure. We never thought in a million years we'd be here. But some things bother your wife, Brian, but not you. Exactly. And it's like, you know what? I looked at a tiny house the other day, and I said to Ryan, I'm like, if we buy land and it needs a house, we're not building a house. We're putting a shipping container on, and we'll be fine. But, I guess I want to just throw it out to the chat. So do you guys still like this series? What do you guys think about this series? Do you feel like it helps you in any way? Do you have any questions on revitalizing your goal plan? Do you think we're too harsh, or do you think we're too mild? Let us know. We're dying here.
Yes, and let us know if there's anything that you think maybe we haven't talked about that you would like to hear us talk about.
And Brian, I'm a city girl. I was the Queens girl, but it took him a while, but he broke me. So while we're waiting for folks, I'm going to just look at Charles. I took all my bills and things I spent money on, wrote it down, then I look at what my income is. Yep, that is the way to do it.
Oh my gosh. And for anybody who likes spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheet, put your bills in there. I put mine in there because, you know, it can tell. We were paying out like close to $7,000 a month in bills, you guys. And I mean, think about that. Like, holy crap, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then I was tracking, like I put the end dates in there of when stuff would be paid off, you know, vehicles, credit cards. Oh, my word. It was awful. That was that was monthly.
Nancy said that this is helping. And let me just go back up real quick. And Dawn Ray B says, I feel revitalized and validated. Dawn, girl, you don't need my validation. You have got it going on. Dawn, you're amazing, building that stuff, doing things on your own. And I just love when you do it on your channel. You're like, yeah, I tried to make this little piece a little square, but it didn't work out. Welcome to my world, girl. If I didn't have Ryan.
Lisa and I were just talking about that, Dawn. About when we have projects with our husbands.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Oh, you guys are so
and Dawn,
sweet.
I hear you. I agree with what Lisa said. You definitely don't need our validation. Your feelings are enough.
Oh, thanks, Ronnie.
I do like Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I don't have one around me, but
I miss Dunkin' Donuts.
But I hear what you're saying. It's nice for people to speak to challenges that you're experiencing, and you're like, God, it's not just me.
Oh, thanks, Andrea. Yeah, I mean, it's just sometimes. All right, so I only have myself to talk to. In fact, right now, I've got to give you a case in point. Right now, I really can't drive too far because my tires, we realize my tires have some issues. And we bought the new tires. And of course, we are in the middle of nowhere. And we bought the tires online. And the local lady, when I called, was like, did you buy the tires here? And I said, nope. I'm sorry, but it was cheaper. So I asked to have them, you know, mounted and balanced. So I can't go too far right now. So I'm home a lot. So Dawn, I bring this back to you is because I'm doing a lot of talking to myself and the pigs. Me and the piglets have become good friends. Because I walk over there and I go, hey, how's it going? Because I haven't seen a human in a while. Except Ryan. So yeah. So, you know, I sit there, I talk to the tomatoes and I go, hey, wow, you're looking pretty good today. And then Ryan comes home and he's like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, you name it. We buy all our tires online. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am all about local and I totally would do that, but I'm talking huge difference. And I can't. So, and then the selection is very limited. So, but yeah, I walk around the tomatoes and like, I sit there and I go, where are you cucumbers? Because I actually have some this year.
Awesome.
You know, I open the pickle jar and I'm like, hello, refrigerator pickles that I made this year from the cucumbers I grew in the greenhouse.
Right?
Yeah. People think I'm out of my right mind.
Oh, I want to make some fried pickles too.
Yeah.
Those are so good.
We need a video or it didn't happen. Yeah. I don't know about that.
You should do a video of your chat with your garden and pigs and whatnot.
I did a garden parody last year of my garden because it was garbage. We have bought our tires online for 20 years. They come in and thankfully have a tire mounting machine. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That is awesome. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But it was just so funny when I called. I was like, and then she's like, okay, well, I'll give you the appointment. The appointment was 3 weeks out, which is tomorrow finally. So I haven't gone far. Yeah. Like I've literally been grounded. So on the weekend, I'm like, Ryan, we need turkey feed. And he's like, all right. Because that means 2 hours round trip. I'm like, we need turkey feed. because I can't go out during the week.
No.
Yeah, we talk to inanimate objects too, just so they don't start talking back.
You hear your tomatoes.
The piglets have voices. They have voices. So I don't know. The tomatoes haven't started talking to me, Art, so we're good.
Lisa,
Huh?
I was just telling you about our horse Rex's voice. Our animals all have voices too.
Yep. Oh, Dawn Ray B says I have full conversations with the chickens out in my granny jammies and the neighbors walking by. So here's the funniest thing. So I'm always out in my jammies, right? In the morning, right? Because I literally wake up and go out and feed. That's what I do, right?
I work remote. I hear you.
Right. Lisa's in the side by side in my jammies. You know, it's just so funny. And there's a trail behind our house. So the people behind our on the walking trail are probably like, but it gets better in the wintertime because at least you cover up. Summertime is a little risky. I'm like, pigs don't care. Pigs don't care. Oh my gosh, you guys are hilarious. Well, we are at an hour. I just noticed that. Time flies when we're having fun. It was so good to be back.
I'm so glad that you are back, Lisa. This was fun today.
It was very fun. It was very fun. Brian says, I buy all my tires from a friend that has his own tire shop, treating me good when I was dirt poor. Yep, absolutely. I actually, when I used to be an office manager.
Holy cow, 6 vehicles. Sorry.
Yeah, I had that, I think.
The insurance bill, my word.
When I was an office manager for a small town car dealership, I had a lot of connections to tire places, and they were just like, I would show up with cash and they were really good to me. And when I moved out of Connecticut, I missed those guys so much because we would get tires all the time. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Thank you. So we're going to try to stay on this schedule again. Stay tuned to our community pages, mine and Mtn Grandma's. Her link is in the description box below. And so we're going to try to do the every other week. So next week, we will be on Mtn Grandma's channel. And the following week, we hope to be back on mine. I don't foresee any issues on my end at this point because pigs are all pigleted and done. So, but I know Mtn Grandma may have some changes to her plan. So I'm really glad you guys were here. What was that, Tammy?
We're good next week.
Okay. So we will see you all next week on Mtn Grandma's channel. And thanks for coming and having some fun, guys. We love you guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.